Hey everybody, welcome to Expand Your Impact TV, episode number 5. I'm Mandy White Pearl, and this is Ron Pearl, and we've got a special guest today who just had to be up in our laps. This is Penelope Pearl, also known as the Profit Pooch. So we want to start off today with some celebrations. What kind of celebrations do we have?
With Kathy.
Kathy. So these are from celebrations from the EYI Insiders. Kathy is taking a vacation this week. How does it get any better than that? And I love it when our members decide to schedule their life first and then make sure their business fits around it. So way to go, Kathy.
And Anna.
Anna is on a cruise right now, but she's working. How does it get any better than working and being on a cruise? That's a great way, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is her first sponsorship opportunity, and she's really stepped up into expanding her impact by putting money out there to sponsor an event, teaching a group of women on how to, she's actually doing a goddess retreat at a Mayan ruin, and really stepping into her power as this transformational destination curator person, and we're really excited for her for that.
And we have Nanette.
Nanette. Congratulations, Nanette. Nanette did her first webinar. And for any of you who know and understand, who've done your own webinars, it's a lot of fucking work to get all that together. So way to go, Nanette.
Right. Rich had his Webby.
Rich is on his 4th series of webinars now and putting them together to be evergreen funnels. So way to go, Rich. Good luck with that webinar. And we'll put a link below to Rich's webinar so you guys can sign up, take a peek at what he's got going on. And if you need to meditate, Rich is your guy. He'll help you out with that.
We got Joyce.
Joyce traveled all the way to Auburn and did her first speaking gig for a professional organization. Did an awesome job doing that, and I'm actually headed out there in just a couple of minutes to do a VIP day with Joyce, and we're going to be working on her website, working on getting her more speaking gigs, and I think we're going to be doing her first Impact Accelerator session, which I'll tell you guys more about in just a little bit. Maria, that's a perfect tie-in. Did you know that? Maria actually had her first Impact Acceleration session the other day, and we blew through so many layers and blocks to her just being her and making money and getting clients. And I think that we'll be able to see a big shift and a big difference in Maria over the weeks to come as she continues to do these Impact Accelerator sessions. Marcella is rocking it with the sales. She just got done attending a 3-day event for speakers, and she is following up with leads from a conference. She is closing them into all kinds of fun little possibilities. So way to go, Marcella. Keep up the good work.
And
Sherry's the one who's on the cruise with Anna. Sherry's the one who instigated all of this fun excitement and has a wonderful group of women who she's pulled together, creating a retreat that was far beyond her comfort zone, and even at the last minute pulling like everything together to make that go off exactly as she'd intended.
And Sherry set that in motion how long ago?
About 4 months ago. It hasn't been that long.
Like November-ish?
Yeah, she's a magic worker. She's a little powerhouse.
Yeah, that's a lot. And Mandy has put together a new LinkedIn webinar.
Yes, so you guys heard last fall I was doing that webinar series about how to get clients from LinkedIn, how to get speaking gigs from LinkedIn. And so I've come up with some, in working with clients over the past 6 months, put together some tweaks and changes to that program, and am re-releasing it. And you guys will see that you'll get to jump in the live master classes for that, as well as the one for Cash Magic Bullet, which is how to create VIP days, which helps you to make more in a day than most of you are used to making in a month. How would you like to get $1,000, $2,000, maybe even $10,000 for doing the awesome work that you do in one day? Profit Pooch says that's pretty cool.
I am enjoying a new morning process. where I'm using meditation and integrating that into my day, and I'm finding a lot of success. I'm really enjoying it.
Yes.
Really happy about that.
He's on a rampage of invincibility. Is that what
Yes.
they call it?
Yes, rampage of invincibility. Very, very cool.
What are you finding how does that affect your day?
Once I'm in the right headspace, everything comes to me easier. I don't worry or angst. I'm not banging around my head against the wall. When I really get myself in the right frame of mind, the right person is right there in front of me with the right message. It actually, some of it started to unfold when we were at Red Elephant, and we'll have a Red Elephant follow-up story a little later. But at the Red Elephant event, I was in a support role for that, and means that there was time when I had just a lot of sort of free space. Normally in a day you'd sit down at the desk and have a whole list of things you'd have to do, and sort of feel like you need to be busy. And at that event, I had a lot of clear headspace time, and that was an event that was designed, come to find out, to sort of root out and allow for your insides to grow. Right? And I experienced that without understanding that that's what I was going there for. Right? And that was really cool.
Sometimes I make him do stuff because I know it'll be good for him.
So,
You have to give him credit for following along with it, though.
yeah. So that wraps up our celebrations. The other thing
How does it get any better than that?
you and I were reflecting on our last month of travel. We were doing a lot of traveling
We had 10 days in Orlando last month.
on 3 separate events.
Yes, 3 separate trips to Orlando.
We went there for Easter, and then we went there
For some
for
family.
family, and then we went there for
The Red Elephant
the Red
event.
Elephant sponsorship event.
And then I stayed and did the 3-day Access body class, which now that's a celebration too, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Now I am a certified Access body process practitioner, which means if you've got any limitations in your bodies, any aches, pains, or yuck, then ask me about an impact acceleration session. From my interesting point of view, I know that as I have more ease in my body, I know that my business is easier too, because I used to spend a lot of time taking naps, staying out of my business because I was sick or I was ill or my body ached or something. And now, as I have a lot more ease with my body, I'm able to work more. And I'm working more not from the perspective of I have to, but from the perspective of this is my mission, is to help change people's lives, especially those of you out there doing work that's going to help raise the consciousness of everybody on the planet. So you've got to be in a space where you're just in joy and ease all the time. So if your body's holding you back, or your brain, all those limiting beliefs, an impact acceleration session is exactly what you're going to need to just bust through all of that in as little as 90 minutes.
And so that brings me to, I wanted to celebrate and remind everybody that you're ramping up your Access evolution, right? You're now have a regular bars practice in the family, right?
Yeah, we run the kids' bars about twice a week. And for those of you who aren't familiar with bars, just hit me up and I'll definitely ask you about that. But for the kids, we noticed that they have this safe bubble within our environment. And I actually noticed this when I went to school the other day with Matt. I got to read to his class. And we refer to me in our household as the bonus mom. And we have this really great relationship. And I didn't actually ever go think about what happens when we leave our reality in this world, whatever happens in the real world, right? His other worlds. And so there was a moment where he had to introduce me to everybody. And he was kind of like, oh, I don't know what to say. And then somebody else mentioned that I was the stepmom. And Matt's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. And it was those people's, interesting reality about what they know their role to be, right? That added that to it. So the bars just helps, we find with the boys, for them to know that they're beautiful and they're wonderful and they're fabulous, and no matter where they go and what they do and what other people say. So it's really hoping to help them be really solid about who they are, so that they can be the magic in the world without having to go through all the things that we did in our journey as we go along.
Mandy and I run each other's bars, and in doing so, I find that it's grounding. I find that it's reminiscent of taking a nap. It's hitting reset on what's going on through the front part of my brain. Gives me a chance to sort of reset. And part of the reason why I brought that up is that inside the Impact Accelerator sessions, you're actually discussing what's going on in somebody's life while you're running the bars, and I happen to see some of that firsthand, and then we discussed it as a sidelight, and you're finding a lot of integration and a lot of ahas from the clients that you're working with, more about like deeper seated mindset types of issues, things that have been persistent for a long time. Typically in a session with you, somebody might talk about a project or a budget, sort of external circumstances.
And then they're bringing up stuff about their family or their dad or their grandparents or something like that. And what you realize, the thing I love about Access is, I've been through therapy for years, right? And you have to talk about why it is and think about it, and it just takes forever. And then I got into modalities like EFT, emotional freedom technique, and you still had to go through this process of thinking about what was going on for you and drudging up all of those painful feelings. And with Access, really, if that feeling comes up, they're just asking what the gift of the awareness is from that feeling. And then with the clearing statement, you just get rid of it. You don't have to think back through it. You don't have to heal all those old wounds. Literally, the energy of those emotions is dissipated. And that is like magic to me because I'm somebody, who's constipated for 30 years. I don't like feelings. And I get that, feelings teach us things, but I don't want to sit in them. And I enjoy that with Access. It's just oh, that's a feeling, and I'd rather go back to being happy. So I can run a clearing statement and move back to happy like that.
With this modality, it's not required to understand why and to solve it like some sort of complicated math equation and go back and seek justification or to defend it or to even relive it. Right at this point, you use positive emotion, know that you're heading in the direction of what you want, and you use negative emotion to understand that you're moving off the path of what it is that you want. Mm-hmm. Right? Once you identify how you're feeling, you can use the tools to shift what else is possible. So I wanted to bring that up because I am admiring how you're integrating these different parts of your life. They had been sort of standalone things before because you needed to sort of get your legs with it, right? And now clearly you've put that together. And so part of how Mandy and I integrate our life is we talk. We talk a lot. And we make it a habit of sitting with each other most every night. And sometimes it's talking about your day or the events and the passings of what you're doing during your day. And then other times it's more of a reflection and things that occur to you, especially because we're both on this sort of exploration right now. I have been studying Abraham Hicks a lot, and there was something that came up there that reminded me of what we were learning with Red Elephant. And those of you that haven't been to Red Elephant, it's a speaking event for speakers, and they have a simple process where someone who's not sure what it is that they want to speak about is said to be in confusion, right? And there were several people that got up and talked about their state of mind, and you could see that they were confused. Often when they're taking the mic, they're a little aimless and a little stuttering, and it was the position of Red Elephant that once you got clear and once you took a stand and had your stand, that the words would come to you and you'd be cleaner and cleaner on stage, essentially. You would get the divine, you would get the download, you would understand who you are, understand what you're about, and they fostered that. And that's what really came through to me, is that they had a place for people who weren't sure what they wanted. They weren't sure who they were. They weren't sure what they were doing. And they allowed that process to take place. And to wrap that back to Abraham Hicks, is one of their, basic tenets was, if you have a new idea, that sometimes if you introduce it to other people too early, it can succumb to the judgment and vibrations of those other people, and that maybe you wouldn't have the faith in it that you could if you had, garnered it and kept it close. And it was actually one of their suggestions that you would foster it sort of internally, and not share it with people. And I found it interesting that they had developed a community that essentially was based on sharing that part of it. And it's those sorts of conversations and ahas for us that make us feel really close and allow us to share. In this case, I'm relating to Mandy's red elephant experience. It's something that I'm studying, and these types of things go on for us all the time.
Yeah, and I'm a part of actually 4 or 5 speaker communities right now, and not all, every community has its own, interesting points of view and feelings and energies that those groups bring up. And the group with Red Elephant really had that safe space of being able to be in confusion and figure it out. So if that's where you find yourself, ask me and I'll definitely hook you up with them and let you know when their next event is. And the other groups, people process in a lot of different ways. So with each group, you find a different way of kind of how you want to learn and how you want to be fostered in this transformational change you're going through. So I think we're running long today. Any other things we got to cover here before we send them on their way?
As many of you know, tax day has just passed, which means it's not a new year anymore. If you aren't clearly on your path to your goals, reach out and schedule a session. Don't let another month go by in confusion and overwhelm. Right?
Yeah, and make sure you're coming to play with us in the Expand Your Impact Facebook group. We've got some exciting daily challenges going on in there, and engagement. We're really going to pick up the engagement level. Ron's going to be in the group on a daily basis. I'm going to be in the group on a daily basis, and all of my Expand Your Impact mentors are going to be playing in the Facebook group on a daily basis, which means if you're looking for a community of people who are getting stuff done, they're implementing from a place of ease and joy and glory, instead of this mile-long task list that's never going to be done and is always overwhelming, then you want to come play in the Expand Your Impact group. All right? Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let's get Penelope on the screen one more time. Bye!